and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's time once again to head out on the highway and check out what's going on in the automotive industry, Les. And we've got a lot to get to, and we're going to start with a tariff update. Things are looking up for one manufacturer in the UK, and Jeep might take a pass on the new Compass coming to the U.S. market. And how much has Ford lost in the last month due to tariffs? It's more than their lunch money.
Yeah. Well, I got to get out my my calculator and my advanced math book, and we'll talk about it shortly.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Toyota has some big updates for its Corolla Cross lineup for 2026, which is not that far away.
It's actually very interesting. I was driving, my press car this week is a 2025 Corolla Cross, and I noticed that there are a lot of things missing in it, and frankly, they brought a lot of those things and put them into the 2026, the things that I noticed that were missing. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Should be an interesting story. And then a new survey, Les, says Americans might be falling out of love with big trucks and SUVs. Falling out of love.
There you go. Darling, you done me wrong. We will talk about that. Not surprised, frankly.
Nope.
And we're going to talk tech. Is GM prepping an AI-enabled crosswind assist system? Well, the very fact that we're asking the question says yes, and we'll cover what we know.
Yes. And then we're also going to talk about the 2026 Corvette. We know a lot about it. What's new? There's a lot new on the inside and some things on the outside. We'll kind of take you through all of the updates, and the new interior, I think, has a lot of people talking, so we'll go through it all and give you all the latest details for sure. Because it's a mid-cycle refresh on the C8. Hard to believe. I was at the launch of that.
Pretty dramatic machine.
Yeah, pretty dramatic.
And you have an at the wheel review of the Genesis GV80 Coupe.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, this was a neat color. It's bearing blue. You can't really tell from the pictures, but it is sort of like a metallic Easter egg blue, I would say. That doesn't even do it justice, but it is beautiful in the sunlight, and blue leather interior with red stitching. And as you know, if it's a Genesis, it's going to be quite the incredible interior. So that's all coming up on this edition of Cruise Control. By the way, it's 4-door coupe and it's a crossover. I mean, they use the term coupe. You and I have talked about this. Coupe used to mean 2-door car.
Yep.
But I guess not so much in the automotive industry anymore. But hey, let's jump into our stories on tariffs, and we've got a couple of them. We're going to start with Mexico having an agreement. Pretty big news this week. There was something called the United States-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement, known as USMCA. That was signed in 2020. And that's kind of what started automakers like Ford, General Motors, and Ram building a lot of their either vehicles or components over there. Now there seems to be some softening in the tariffs there in Mexico, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. And this is, this is progress. It's the best word I can come up with.
Yep.
The White House confirmed to Bloomberg that certain components that qualify for preferential treatment will be exempt.
Yes.
And what are those products? Generally, they're the big ticket items like transmissions and engines.
Yep.
It's just, big suspension systems, and this is important because it's it's just too hard to build a vehicle moving these components back and forth
Yeah.
and paying tariffs every time.
Yeah, and it's great. And also, this is an article from Bloomberg. They also said we're going to cut these tariffs, but we're going to talk about a 2-year time frame to get more of this work back in the U.S., which I think is good. 2-year time frame is
That's yeah.
possible.
It's it's
2 weeks or
breathing
two
room.
months is not
Yeah.
possible. Yeah.
And I think we're going to see an awful lot of this all over, with the possible exception of China,
Mm-hmm.
um, because that's the way it ought to work. A nice wide um, downtime where everybody can get used to what they can deal with, what they can't deal with,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Well, Jamie Dimon this week, who's the head of Chase Bank, said, the overall concept and goal of tariffs is great. It's just you can't like blow it all up. You have to
Right.
go slow, and the goal is good, and it's just how you execute it. Which I agree. I agree. Make it worth the company's while to move things back into the U.S. and give them time to do it. 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 months. That's nobody can
That's
do
right.
that. It can't happen.
You need to do this surgery with a
Surgery,
scalpel, not
yes.
with a not
Hammer.
with a or a grenade.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, another company that is feeling a little bit better this week is Jaguar Land Rover, because
Yeah.
the UK government negotiated a 10% tariff rate with the Trump administration, bringing down, I guess, what was originally the 25% rate. And then they're going to go back and say, in the case of Jaguar Land Rover, that the 10% tariff will only apply to the first 100,000 vehicles brought into the U.S. from England. Well, here's the thing. They really only export about 120,000 vehicles to the U.S.
Yeah.
every year. They don't go above that. So maybe they'll make the number 120 and it'll be like, sure, but we're not going to bring any more in. I mean, think
Sure.
about it. Jaguar's not bringing anything in right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Where is Jaguar these days? We
Well, as an offshoot of this story, I know they fired their agency, their advertising agency that did that bizarre uh, thing with
didn't
they people that look
didn't
like
we
they're on the moon
di-
or something.
didn't we predict that?
Yeah. Well, I think people said, okay, the guy that runs it is very artsy and all that. That's cool,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: basic. If you're going to sell cars, you show the car.
You should. Yes. E- Every every company that's tried that trick has failed. Going
Yes.
back to the Catera,
Yes.
and there was another one there at uh, there was a it was an Infinity back in the 90s that
The Q, some Q model.
yeah, and it didn't show the car.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think if I'm
it's
going to try to sell you something, I would show you it.
I want to, it's the automotive industry equivalent to the Hollywood movie rule, which is never ever kill the dog.
Oh, well, I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah, because
you
the movie
lose.
will fail if you kill the
Yeah,
dog.
it makes people very uncomfortable. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, um, so good news. Good news, and we're seeing some movement on this. I know there was a
yeah, yeah.
not that it
It's
really
happening.
affects not that it really affects us here, but there was a deal with India as well. Um, but you talk about what are these tariffs doing to certain companies, and it was reported this week. by Ford that they lost $200 million in the first quarter
Ooh,
due to tariffs. And one of their vehicles that we have talked about on cruise control, the Nautilus, which by the way starts at 55,535, which is built strictly in China. It's built for the
built in
Chinese
China.
market, but they send it over
Nice
here.
vehicle.
Nice vehicle. That they feel they're not going to import anymore right now because they feel they have enough to cover their needs. So that won't the ones that are here won't be tariffed, and that gives them some breathing room on that. But one of the big problems for GM will be Buick because three of their top models are made in China. So
Yeah.
I think those are going to be the stand because, as you were just saying, um, there's not going to be a deal with China right away. There's some talk. They are talking, but
They
um,
are.
I don't know how that's going to work out for those vehicles and that brand.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like two people who hate each other talking. It's,
They're talking at
it
each
takes a
other.
lot of talking and
Yeah.
negotiating. Um, I was going to say something about the Navigator. Is that I was going to ask you, what do you think the dealers are going to do? Are they going to try to add a little bit of value added
Who
component?
knows? Who knows? I think it's being used as a tool, though. I think it's being used as a
I'm
tool.
afraid it might be.
They use anything. They use
Yeah.
anything. Um, but I I I think probably some people won't believe them when they say the Nautilus is built in China. I tell people that, and they're like, "No, that's like built
Oh
on a
yeah.
pickup truck chassis." They don't even say that. Most people don't even realize
That's right.
that
No,
most of
no,
these are built on a
that's
pickup
built
truck.
in Detroit. Well, no,
Yes,
it's not.
no, it's not. So,
No, it isn't.
but
Hasn't been built there for 30 years.
Ford actually saw their EV sales rise 15% during this last quarter, which is big. So big sales on the Mach-E Mustang crossovers, and they get a healthy price cut for 2025. So that trend will probably likely continue. But $200 million in a quarter, I mean, that sounds like a lot of money to us, but maybe it's not a lot of money to them.
Now,
But
here's
it's still a
another
lot of
thing.
money.
I think it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I would
Um,
take it. I would rather have it
I
than not have it.
I would much rather have it. But now, what I don't understand is we're told that Ford is planning on using bonded carriers to move parts and completed vehicles to avoid paying the import duties. How does that avoid paying the duty? It's just carrying the
I
component or the vehicle.
I thought that meant that the components or the vehicles that were here before the tariffs were enacted had to be kept in a bonded warehouse to so
Ah, okay.
hey, because how would you know, like, if I have an engine and I just sit in a warehouse, well, when was this one made? I don't know. I mean, I guess you could know, but that's that's all I know. That's what I think maybe it
Okay.
means. That the vehicle, yep, we're telling you that we didn't switch it out along the way with a new one that was brought in and we're trying to get out of it. I think they have to maintain let's like maintaining control of evidence. Like you don't know like I
Okay.
shoved it in the closet here somewhere. Nope, it's been locked up.
Somehow, I think people can very creatively get around those sorts of things.
Probably.
Um,
I just don't know enough about it to
yeah, I don't either. I mean, this is
area.
not my
Well,
expertise, not my any kind of experience.
let's talk about the new Jeep Compass that got a global reveal this week. It's got a number of different powertrains, hybrid, all electric, etc. Looks nice. Important vehicle for Jeep. Due to tariffs, since it's made in Italy, they may not bring it here. They may not bring it to the
Hmm.
U.S. And that's a shame because it's a good-looking vehicle. I think it's quite attractive, and having hybrid and electric drivetrains, this seems like a vehicle that Jeep needs. Now, this could be backward leverage on the administration saying, like, well, yeah, we need to sell this vehicle, but we can't bring it here, because it's made in
Yeah.
Italy. What do you think?
Well, I think it's the right thing to do. I think they want to be sure and, and advertise the fact that they can't bring this thing that a whole lot of people want here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a nice vehicle. It's part Lancia Gamma, it's part Alpha, it's
Yeah,
part Fiat.
yeah,
I mean, wow.
yeah. The lime green is called the Hawaii version, and the blue is called the Pacific. I don't know what the white's called, but I hope it does come here because it's exciting to have multiple drivetrains like that. And once again, I still think the hybrid powertrain in a small crossover that has that trucky look, like we just saw the last hour. We saw the CRV hybrid trail sport. This would be a competitor to that, and it seems like a market that's growing. So I'm sure Jeep really wants to get this here. Plus, they still have no Cherokee, so they need fresh, smaller vehicles. Not
Yep.
everyone wants a Wagoneer. People want smaller things like this. I would look at
And
something like this. It looks interesting to me.
absolutely. And I predict, Mr. Staub, I predict that there will be an exemption set up by the White House and Stellantis
I think they're angling
to
for it.
let this
Yes,
come over
they're
because
angling for it.
uh, you got a whole lot of people out there who want it,
Yeah.
and they're telling their representatives, "I want this,"
Yes. So I
and
think that's what it is. I think it's backwards pressure,
it's
and
back, but it's good pressure.
it's good pressure.
It's it's letting people know, well, look, these are the consequences of this. Just let's lay off for a
Yes.
little bit
Yep.
and think about it.
We also got this. This is a teaser while we're on Jeep. This is a teaser for the Grand Cherokee, the new Grand Cherokee. So we have a couple of pictures. It will have a dashboard, and it will
It
kind of
has
look
wheels.
like the current model, sort of. But
Yeah.
that's all we know. That's
Well,
all
there
we
it
know.
is.
There
Um,
certainly will be plug-in hybrids. There
it's a
might be electric
lovely little
versions.
piece of wood.
It might be certainly it will have the Hurricane engine in it, the straight
Yep.
six twin turbo. Will it have a Hemi in it at some point? Probably.
Mm, don't know.
Probably. Probably. The old one did, so I think it probably will as an option. Uh, but who knows? But that's a teaser for that. I, on the other hand, sort of like the Compass. I think that is a clever little vehicle, and as I say, it hits that off-roady feel in a smaller vehicle. So, but we'll see. We'll see. My prediction is it will eventually make its way there. But it's just
Yep.
another offshoot of tariffs. In the past, they would have been like, "Yep," and we're bringing that out in the summer. Um, you'll love this next story, Les, because it's pretty much near you. The U.S. Secret Service just took
Yes.
command of 10 cars for special training from GM, and they were C8 Corvettes and a number of different vehicles, some big SUVs. They're training. They go through this training for convoy duty and let's just say aggressive evasive maneuvers.
Yes. Aggressive evasion.
Um, so a mix of cars. The idea is you have to jump in a car and you're not familiar with it, and you can do that. I think actually we would be good at this because we jump in cars we don't know all the time.
Well, yes. I used to train some of these people back in the
Wow.
70s, part time. Those, the Secret Service and FBI and CIA
Wow.
and NSA. Um, and it was a lot of fun.
especially if you're not buying the tires.
Oh, yeah, it's not my car.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
here's the
now it's
story.
just, yeah.
They don't know how to drive manuals. A lot of them, not all of
See,
them, but some of them.
most don't.
And so they sent them some Cadillac Blackwings, which are some of the only vehicles left. A CT4V and a CT5V. These are some of the only vehicles left with manuals because they said, what if, they're in the convoy and they have to commandeer a vehicle and they're in Europe and it's a manual. And someone commented on this article, well,
Yeah.
then they should try driving right-hand drive vehicles too, as well. They really should.
Well, they should. Now, this is not simple training because you've got to learn. And part of the training, by the way, I've been to the training center in
Oh, that sounds
Maryland
incredible.
and the other facility in West Virginia. Um, you got to learn some of these things under live fire.
Oh, wow.
I mean, serious live fire, machine gun fire.
So this is sort of like driving home on the highway with road ragers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like going to the mall.
Right, and somebody's mad because you didn't leave like a top fuel
Exactly. You cut
dragster
them off so they
from
open
the
out, grab
stoplight
the AR-15, and
and
start.
just start cranking off rounds. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
And it's very attention getting. I'll put it that way.
yeah. It sounds like a
Um,
great course.
so, well,
Well,
the
I've
point
never
is,
driven through gunfire, but
yeah, the point is, you have to learn how to do this with a stick shift in this case, so
yes,
that it becomes muscle memory. You can't think, okay, well, what gear should I be in next? This has to be
yeah, muscle
part of
like a race car driver. You're not
your
like,
very being. Yeah, it's
well,
all muscle memory.
you know what would happen. They'd get in, the thing would be
Yeah,
in gear. They go to
yeah,
start it, and they won't push in the clutch, so it
that's
won't
right.
start.
And they stall it. No, this is real white knuckle stuff, and I think a fair number of these agents will fail.
Well, how many clutches will they have to put in these cars, do you think?
Uh, I don't know. I would still love to be an
Yeah,
instructor now, but now these places are all
locked down. Yeah,
special
yeah.
facilities. Yeah,
It sounds fun. It sounds fun. Um,
yeah,
a fun day at work. It's like, here, take this C8,
yeah.
and we're gonna do
And
high
also,
speed driving.
part of the
Don't
instruction is
ram anything with it though. That would be the worst vehicle for
exactly.
ramming
And
stuff.
part of the instruction is a backing up high speed J turn.
Oh yeah, with the emergency brake.
So think about that with a stick shift.
Yeah, yeah. I'd have to really think about how to do it in that stall. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Uh, this is not something that you can just have a post-it note on the dash saying
Yeah,
shift into third.
yeah. But
Yeah.
truthfully,
So
you should be able to get in and drive any car. It's sort of like the military
absolutely.
trains on other sides firearms because if you pick that up and that's the only one there, you should be able to
Exactly.
make it work.
And they are trained on that stuff.
Yes.
You and I would have no problem excelling in the driving portion of the training.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't do that well with the, uh, you know, beating the bad guys to the ground. Uh,
No, no, I don't.
I'd be asking them politely.
Yes, you need some more training on that.
Yeah,
It
that's right.
there's probably
Please
ways
put
to
the
do
gun
it
down.
without yes, just pushing on their
Yeah,
wrist or something and they fall down, which would be good to know
that's right.
too. But anyway, not to get off on a tangent.
That's right.
Let's go over to Toyota and talk about their Corolla Cross. And as I said in the open, um, Corolla Cross is a vehicle I'm driving right now. I have a 2025 model that I'm reviewing, but there's a lot new just this week. It's interesting that this came out just as I'm driving the 2025. Um, and for my limited time in the 2025 so far, I thought of a few things that it was missing. And Toyota must have been listening because they have put them in there. So one of the main things for me that it was missing was dual zone climate control. And you and I talked about this. If you have a
Yeah.
significant other, which in this case is my wife and your wife,
Hmm.
when she saw that was missing, she's like, "No, that's it. That's a no-go for me." On this
Yep.
vehicle. They've added that. They've added that in some of the higher levels. They've also added in the hybrid level heated seats and heated steering wheel because you couldn't get a heated steering wheel before, but now it has a heated steering wheel. Uh, Another important thing. I think that's good. And I always thought the Corolla Cross was a great vehicle, but it was a little lightly optioned for my taste. They fixed that. I love the new color grill on the hybrid. It's sort of like the Crown crossover, where that's kind of becoming a trend. Probably we'll see that on the new RAV4. The interior still comes off as kind of a lot of black, but now at least it has heated seats, heated steering wheel, and dual zone AC, which is a plus. And you can get fog lights on the hybrid, which is another weird thing that I don't know why they didn't have. It always seemed like they were trying to hit that number, cost number in this vehicle, so they fixed that up. So, what's new? New front fascia treatments for 2026. As I said, that color match grille on the hybrid, so that really calls out the hybrid, and I think it looks great. And that blue is new as well. It's newly refreshed interior with a 10.5-inch touchscreen, which is nice. The bigger touchscreen, I like that a lot. Cavalry blue paint color on select grades on the hybrid. I think that looks good with the jet black roof. New 18-inch alloy wheels. Hybrid grades also are equipped with the new fifth generation hybrid electric system with 100 the all-wheel drive model getting 196 horsepower, 42 combined, which is great miles per gallon. I'm in the hybrid right now.
Excellent.
Going to take it on the highway, and we'll let you know what kind of numbers they do. And then there are three gas grades available in front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. They get 32 miles per gallon, which is not terrible either. I found the non-hybrid model to be a little slow, frankly. The hybrid model is a little bit better. So it is really, we don't know pricing, but it is certainly, they've added a lot of great features. I'm kind of a fan of the body colored grille. I think it looks good. And I also like the interior, what they've done with the interior as far as updating it. So look for this model to get a lot more popular. This is built in the U.S. too.
Yep. Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville,
Again.
Alabama.
Yeah.
So maybe they're making it a little bit more palatable since it is probably not going to get hit with a big tariff, right?
It's yeah. They're really Toyota is a very interesting company. They keep their fingers on the pulse of buyers, and if anything is missing, they fill it up very quickly as soon as they learn about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I say, I felt that I was excited about it, especially the hybrid model, but I always felt that was a little low on equipment availability. And this one I have has my most annoying pet peeve. It is blank off plates, like four of them, where I
Yep.
guess heated seats would go and probably, the heated steering wheel button. And you know me, I hate those blank off plates. It just annoys me. It's like, oh, we didn't get any options in this. So
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Let's jump over to our next story. America might be falling out of love with oversized trucks and SUVs. Les, do you have something to do with this?
I did. I've been predicting this for quite a while. I've been doing everything I could to accelerate it. Um, and it's not because I don't like SUVs and oversized or big trucks. I don't, but it's not because of any image. It's because as an engineer, I look at these things and I realize that 90% of their capabilities will never be used. When they get to the junkyard, all of that engineering will have been wasted. And I just don't like that.
Well, it's sort of like I use this analogy. It's like you're going for an overnight trip. So instead of taking a little roll along bag, you take a steamer trunk filled with all
Yeah,
your
yeah,
clothes.
yeah,
When you really just need
that's
a
right.
change of clothes and something to sleep in and your toothbrush, you take your whole closet's worth of clothes with you all the time. How's that for an analogy?
Yeah. And so many of these things are purchased because people think they might need something this big. And maybe they do once a year,
You can rent
but
it always.
you can rent it and they're terribly expensive. So
Well,
I'm inherently just not in favor of that.
they talk about this is a survey by the Dave Canton Group, which sounds like a jazz combo, but
Yeah.
apparently they do studies. And they say it's very likely that the demand for larger vehicles will begin to slip, and they're saying it has to do with tariffs. Uh,
Mm.
SUV interest was down 1% from last year, trunk interest down 2%, crossovers down 2%, but interest in hatchbacks and sports cars went up 1%, and sedan interest jumped by 3%, Les Jackson.
Aha.
The research group cites affordability as the driving factor in the decline of interest in bigger models. The decline of the truck interest appears to span incomes while spending tightens among buyers with incomes in the 75 to 100K range, and it appears to be driving a shift from SUV to sedan.
Aha. Well, now,
Yes,
and the interesting thing is these people get into the sedans and they go, oh, well, I didn't need that SUV.
oh, and it's wow, look at how easy this is to park. Like, have you ever watched some people drive large SUVs? It's
Oh,
like
this
it's
this is a
painful.
huge, huge pet peeve of mine. Everywhere I look, knowing that these things have backup cameras and all of the driver assist, that if you just look at the damn screen and follow the yellow and the blue lines, you can park.
Right.
But they don't. They it's three or four, five maneuvers to get
They
into a
need a
space.
tugboat to shove them into the
Yeah,
park.
so I just keep thinking, you know, docking and coming about in a craft of this tonnage,
Yes.
requires the use of seamanship, and it's just
When you go
crazy.
to park it in the parking lot, you need like a pilot boat to come, a pilot to
Yeah,
come on board, and I
that's
got it
right.
from here.
I have actually gone out to restaurants a number of times, and over the past, well, all the time, but over the past few years, we've gone into parking lots, and people are having a difficult time parking. And I've actually gone over several times. Said, excuse me, I'm an expert in these things. I can park this for you very quickly. And they've gotten out and let me park it.
It's like maybe it's a little bit too much vehicle.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, on this note, also the Motor One had a interesting article that said there are 58 three-row SUVs on sale in the U.S. right now.
Wow.
58.
Wow.
So
I
that
didn't even
number,
think.
that will go down for sure.
Yeah, it will.
Um,
I didn't think there were that many.
the only manufacturers that don't sell a three-row SUV are Alfa Romeo, Porsche, and Maserati.
Huh.
Um,
Wow.
so, and then there on top of that, there are some minivans too. Uh, by the way, minivans are getting more popular as well. The Kia Carnival is gaining some popularity. So that's probably a better family hauler. But anyway, that's a whole thing. So you think about that. What will we be talking about in a year's time or more? Will there still be 58 three-row SUVs?
I doubt it.
Uh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Sedans. I've said this that when I have a sedan for the week to test out, I always like it. It's like, well, that was nice. That was a comfortable car, you know. But you're sometimes the only one with a sedan on the road, you know, in a sea of
Almost
giant trucks.
always. It's-
So, hey, feel like talking some tech?
Let's do it.
Okay, this comes from Car Moses, which is a great website that looks at automotive patents that are submitted but have not been activated yet. But this is something that is being worked on. And this is something called crosswind assist. So if you've ever been driving on a windy day, it's a windy day today, you get pushed around a little bit. And we're used to it. You just steer through it and whatever, but some people probably are not used to it. So what GM is working on is an AI upgrade for crosswind assist. It would get, this has been filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. It would get weather information, including wind speed, wind direction, and gust intensity using weather and vehicle data. And then it would try to offset this with steering input and things like that. Pretty slick. Once again, this is something that should be on big trucks, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like this. I think this is pretty cool, and certainly I could see this on trucks and things that would pull a trailer. I think that would be helpful for people, like on a windy day when if they're pulling a cargo trailer or a camping trailer. So to be able to predict this, maybe it tightens up the steering
Yeah.
feel. Who knows what it does?
Well,
I do like that.
this is
Let's move on. Let's move on to our next story, and that we can talk a little bit about what's new for Corvette in 2026, right?
that's right. Corvette is still there, still strong.
Yeah, it's had a great. I mean,
Uh,
this.
and I see them on the road all the
Some people liked it, some people didn't. Now they're some people liked it, some people didn't. Now they're more integrated into the console. I think it makes the interior feel more open because when I drove it, I thought, yeah, it is like a wall between the driver and the
right.
passenger. They've added a small screen over on the left and made the other screens larger on the inside. So it is a nice upgrade. They've also moved the charger for the phone. It was in sort of like a pocket on the waterfall area of the vehicle, and that was moved to a more traditional location because it's not behind you now as the driver. By the way, look at the size of those brakes and look at
Well,
those carbon.
yeah,
You sure do. You sure do. Yeah, and I think the addition of the screens, I think the addition of that small screen on the side is a good one. Um, it's all good. It's evolution, not revolution, as Dave Hill, a former chief engineer, once panel. So I wonder how they do that. Panel. So I wonder how they do that. Would you wait for the new one, or would you get a 2025? I don't know. I was just talking less about the roof, the electrochromatic roof. I believe the panel is still removable, which is interesting. That might be an industry first.
Well, I don't know. I'd probably get a new one. It's kind of it's a sort of car where you don't really want anyone else to have been driving it.
They may not have been gentle.
Might not have been gentle.
Yeah.
Um, and I just that's the kind of car that I think needs to be
Bought new.
your special thing.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's take a look at our next story. And this involves AMG. It was a story this week that AMG, the head of AMG, said they are definitely developing a new V8.
Hmm.
And since there's no end date for them in the U.S. and other markets, they're going to develop a new V8. And there is some talk, and we've been talking a little bit about this on Cruise Control, that the C63, which ended up getting a hybrid four-cylinder, could go back to being a V8.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't think that four cylinders working out too well.
No, I don't think people think it's worth the money. And I think they look elsewhere. So when they see them look elsewhere, they're thinking we should do this. It might be a flat plane crankshaft V8,
Mm-hmm.
which is favored by companies like Ferrari and Chevrolet. Of course, we were just talking about Corvette, and it's in the Z06 and ZR1 models. As you know, Corvette designers and engineers have always had a love affair with Ferrari, haven't they? So it might be a hybrid as well. So that would be pretty
That
exotic.
could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting. So I think we'll see it. I do. I think we'll see that. Let's talk about an at the wheel review, shall we?
Why not?
This is it's called the Genesis GV80 Coupe. Now, GV80, of course, is their crossover, but this is what they're calling their coupe version, sort of a hatchback version of it, where the GV80 is more of a traditional SUV. And so a little bit sporty version of this, similar to certain products from the folks at BMW, where they've done this. Ours was very nicely equipped. Ours had the electric supercharger. So this is powered by a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 with a 48-volt E supercharger. All of that is good for 409 horsepower, 405 pound-feet of torque. And it's all-wheel drive. Power goes through all of those wheels with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Look at this interior. Man, this is ultramarine blue with orange stitching and matching orange seat belts, which I think is pretty cool. I don't think anyone can match the interiors of Genesis, not at that price point anyway. It's got this great carbon fiber look.
It's almost like a royal
vehicle, transporter
treatment.
Device. Yes.
Yeah.
That almost full width panel where the gauges and the navigation slide right into each other. Just beautiful interior. Everything is wrapped. What do you think of the orange seatbelts? You never forget to put them on.
Well, I'm not a big fan of orange, but they look good in that. I think some colors in the interiors they might not look good.
Look at this. This has a power seats for the second row passengers. So
well,
power tilt, power which is nice, and they fold relatively flat as well. Also, you get heated and cooled seats in the back, complete air conditioning control, fan speed, etc., and a couple of USB-Cs and electrical outlet as well. Of course, they didn't cheap out on the door cards in the rear seat. They still have the same great treatment. This is a $180 option, that flat, hard surface to cover your cargo. But good rear visibility, by the way, in this vehicle, even though it has that sloping roof. gorgeous interior. You just can't go wrong with the interiors in Genesis. I am very, very, very happy with anything Genesis. And then you move around back, you've got a very short rear deck. And yep, it's a hatchback back there. Opens up to a great cargo area. This is the $180 tonneau cover, basically, folds up. Look at how that rear interior storage area is finished. Nice carpet all the way around. You've got that chrome treatment. And then you can electrically fold those seats using the buttons there, which is really nice. You know, they don't cheap out anywhere on this vehicle whatsoever. Just the grade of the carpeting in the back is high end. You have a tire mobility kit, and I believe that is the 12-volt battery underneath there. But great storage, really great storage. I mean, hatchbacks, hey, they are great. There it is, that 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 with the 48-volt supercharger, dual breathers, dual air boxes. Can't see much. It's under those plastic covers. But I tell you what, it was very powerful. It very smooth. I mean, everything. There's every convenience and comfort and convenience option you want here. Head-up display, Napa leather seating surfaces, integrated memory system with smart posture care, power cushion extension for the lower cushion up front, carbon fiber trim, leatherette wrapped upper instrument panel. Look at the exhaust back there. I love that.
I like
exhaust.
those. Yeah, they look authoritatively.
They do. They do. That color is called bearing blue. It is a metallic color. This video doesn't do it justice because it was very beautiful, and it almost looked different in a lot of different lights. You know, just a unique color, very, very unique color. As I say, everything, the 115-volt AC outlet, the 40-20-40 second row folding seats, power rear seats. I mean, all the things you get back there for the passengers. That's a 27-inch OLED instrument cluster with navigation system, Bang & Olufsen premium stereo, Genesis connected services, digital key, fingerprint authorization system, active noise control. I mean, it's got everything. Okay, so what does it cost you? What does it cost you? Well, the paint was an upgrade, $650. That cargo tray I showed you was $180. So the base price is $85,750.
Ooh.
Color adds $650. The accessories add $180. Freight is $1450, which seems affordable these days. $88,030. $88,030. So, which I believe is a little bit more than the GV80 crossover. But I tell you, their interiors are incredible. And by the way, separate from this vehicle, there was announced this week that that Genesis is going to be having their first extended range electric vehicle, which means the engine will not be connected in any way to the wheels, but will simply act as a generator and charge the battery. That's going to be in their new GV70. So they are getting that technology. And skipping hybrids, they're going right to that technology, which is interesting that they would do that. But I'm excited for the brand. That is an exciting brand.
Yep. Certainly no apologies for Genesis. Everything's done right.
Yeah, everything is done right, and it is quite impressive. So it's something to look forward to. Driving more of those Genesis vehicles in the future. What will they come up with? I don't know. We did their campaign where they showed some of those cars, those future cars, and I have a video about that up on our YouTube page, Cruise Control Motoring YouTube page. It's exciting stuff. I mean, I still say they're the best interiors at that price point. So it's sort of like you can buy a high-end Mercedes for a third off, I would say roughly. And it's just it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
not not that these are inexpensive, but
But if that
they're
was a Mercedes, it'd be
a
130.
greater value
Yeah.
at that level.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say that's what it would be? It would be over a hundred
Yeah,
thousand.
hmm
So
fully agree.
yeah, they drive great and just impressive, just impressive.
Yep.
Hey, I will say this. I said earlier, I drove a neighbor's i5. Do you get that where neighbors get a new car and they want you to drive it? That's what he wanted me to review it. So I will
Why
say
not?
this: it was a great vehicle, maroon with a white exterior, and I had fun driving it. And he's excited about it, having his level 2 charger installed. So it's good. And I won't tell you what he paid for it, but I think he got a good deal on it. He leased it. I told him to lease the electric car because, hey, technologies in 3 years might be a lot better.
Yep. Yep.
So he said that I did. I leased it, but he always wanted a BMW of any kind. He waited for years to get it, and he wanted an electric car. So I said, go for it. So I forget why he got the i5 instead of the i4, but he said there was some reason. I forget what
Well,
he told me, but
just whatever appeals to him.
yeah, whatever appeals. So I said, yeah, enjoy it, and we took it out on the highway, and it's great interior, great graphics, really nice, really nice. And he was surprised. We looked under the hood, and it's just a giant engine motor cover.
Oh yeah.
Um,
You could play ping pong on
he
it.
said, "What does the motor look like?" I said, "We're not taking this cover off because I don't
No.
know if I could put it back on again." But I showed him the pictures of some of the press cars. I said they basically look like a four-cylinder engine with orange wires coming out of them. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah.
It's just that. I think the only thing you could do under there was fill the washer fluid.
Windshield washer fluid.
That's it. No other.
That's it.
I said no user serviceable parts. Under here, just this. And so.
Man.
So it was pretty nice. Nice big trunk in the vehicle too. So it was fun driving it. If he's listening, I appreciate that. It was a good drive. So hey, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out on our YouTube page at Cruise Control Motoring, and we got a lot of videos up there, and we always appreciate your likes and comments, and it's a good thing. And we will be back next week with more, won't we, Les Jackson?
We shall.
So for that, I should say it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.